today?
Well, I thought, number one, I thought the defense came out and started fast. I thought we had a couple of stops. Nice drive by Evan there. I thought we had pretty good pressure on occasion. And then, all in all, I thought the kicking game looked pretty good. A couple of really good drives by the offense. And then I was a little creative with my officiating and gave him some nice drives there, too. So it was a lot of fun. And I think we came out injury-free, and the hot dog eating contest was won by the players. So we wouldn't have a mutiny of having everybody in study hall on Monday. So it was good.
What we see from Jerevin recently, I mean, you think he's is it set that he has that other cornerback spot, or what do you think?
Yeah, if we played Boston College today, he'd be our starting corner. Yeah. But now it's the next phase, and what are we going to do between now and reporting to Camp Kenosha? So, knowing him, his attitude, the way he works, those guys that are behind him, it's going to be tough to beat him out. So, good competition through spring. I'm proud of the way all those guys have all improved, and so I think we got pretty good competitive depth.
Speaking of competition, you talk about running back and why Trumpy played today but not Adonis.
Adonis was a coaching decision, and then the rest of the guys played because those were all we had. So, and Mike was in a very limited role. I think he touched the ball. Wolfie, how many times did Trump? 3 times. That was by design.
Is he a starter, or is that still up for grabs heading into the
Again, if we played Boston College today, he'd run out there on the first rep, but we play a lot of guys. Him and Adonis have had a good spring. I like the spring of Tyrus. Timmy Hanrahan's a little tough guy, man. He got dinged up early in spring, and he just kept battling through it. And then, Jacob will be, cleared tomorrow, probably. So we got good depth there.
The plan you laid out in the spring, what are you pleased with you're able to accomplish, and what did you not accomplish?
Well, I was hoping we'd get a few guys back, like Jacob, like Tony Jones, Roderick a little sooner. So I guess that would be the only thing we didn't get accomplished for those guys individually. They're all on track. There's no issues. This time of the year, we're going to err on the side of being cautious and be smart. So that would be the one thing I don't think we accomplished, but that was a little bit out of our control. We want to get our attitude back. I believe we've done that. I think the guys are having fun. They're competing their butts off. It's been a real physical spring, and we've solidified some competitive depth. I think this will be coming out of spring. This will be the most depth that we've had. So that's encouraging.
We come out with a depth chart, post-spring depth chart this week or something?
No. I mean, if you really want one, sure, I'll give you one. But
sure.
Whatever you guys need, I'm here to full service for you guys. I mean, really, I don't care. I don't really care. I care more about as we get ready in game week. We'll do the same thing. I mean, Al Netter's our starting left tackle.
So who's
Brian Mulrow's our starting left guard. But I mean, there's a lot of guys that what happens between now and camp is going to determine their role. And I could go through individually and let me get through the spring, and if you guys want to sit down again post-spring, we can talk about some of those things. But I like where our depth is. I really like where it's at now. This is a critical time. We got to bust our butts as much as we have all year long to see if we can get the best shape of our lives.
So who is Danny's number one backup right now?
3 guys.
Yeah.
Born tonight, but not last night. So
that's TBD.
Yeah, and it'll probably be determined going into game week. Mm-hmm. It'll also be determined on how Danny comes back in camp and how he's feeling, and we fully anticipate him coming back full speed, ready to go. But we will also have a plan, and that'll be. I'll probably know that a little bit better as we get into camp, kind of where he's at. He upped his interval training last week, and man, it was awesome to watch him be sore and work through the growing pains of breaking up scar tissue. So he's way ahead of schedule. He's doing really well.
Tell us about your media darling over here, Tyrus. Has he thrown his hat into the ring?
I don't have to tell you anything. He's already told you everything. So what do I need? What do I need to add? I mean, geez, he's great. He's a great young man. He's going to have a role. He's a tough guy. He's physical. He's got a lot of passion. He'll be very involved in the kicking game in different roles. We'll see once we get all our full complement of backs back what role he earns in camp. He'll be on the field, if not in the backfield as a super back. I like Tyrus.
Game was just saying that football player he wants to be on the field somewhere.
Good.
When you talk about plans, will you have a plan in effect where Danny comes back and you can use him in different roles other than quarterback?
Sure. Sure.
He says with a smirk.
Sure. And he's a quarterback, number one. I mean, he's a quarterback. He's had a really good spring. So first and foremost, he's a quarterback. And then are you asking me will we be creative? I don't know. I think you can look at our past history and assume so. Yeah, we'll do some different things, but we're going to develop him as a quarterback.
What does it do for your offense to have 3, 4, maybe 5 guys as an option out of the backfield as well?
Well, philosophically, with players, formations, plays. So I think more than just backfield, I think, you see the emergence of Charles Brown this spring. I think if I were to look at offensive MVP for the spring, it would be Charles. Chewing on his heels would be Mike Jensen. I think those two young men, from where they were going into spring to where they're at right now, have really improved. And then we got a lot of other guys that I think have improved a lot too. So I'm encouraged with our skill set. And then the incoming freshman coming in.
Who's your defensive MVP then?
I would probably say Ibrahim Campbell. We talked about this as a staff the other day, but then guys like Colin Ellis and Chichi Araguzo, Tyler Scott, we've got a lot of guys that have a really good spring. But I like, and I think it's more maybe a newcomer, guys that maybe emerged that had, that's the way we kind of looked at it. So I'm pleased with where we're at. Today? Well, it's hard, Tina, from a standpoint. They're going one series and out. So it's really hard to say who's further along. I think they've all had good days. They've all moved the offense. We've executed under all 3 of them. So that's probably what's most encouraging to me. All 3 have gone with the ones. They've all executed. They've all moved the football. They've all done enough to get us beat. Today some of the decisions of Trevor holding on to the ball, Kane pitching the ball, and that's a turnover. Evans sailing the ball, and we got a guy wide open. Enough to where none of those guys are ready today to go out there and be our starter, but they don't need to be today. So we'll keep working at it, and the good news is we had this guy named Dan in the mix who's pretty good. So I really like our situation at quarterback. We got Zach Oliver, who was here today watching spring, and he'll be up here this summer. So I'm very confident in that position that they're going to continue to improve, and especially under the leadership of Mick McCall, in my opinion, the best quarterback coach in the country. He does a great job with those young men. They'll be ready. They'll all be ready.
Out of those 3, who do you think has shown the most improvement since spring ball started?
Well, again, I think if I were to look at all 3, I think they've all have improved, especially this last week with Evan. I think his footwork and his balance has been better. He's really thrown the ball really well this last week. I think Kane, his arm strength is getting better in comparison to what it was when he reported. When he reported coming off that labrum, it was tough, so he's getting stronger. And I think Trevor is a guy that was kind of the unknown because he wasn't in the mix in the fall, and now to watch the way that he's gotten better each week. So I think all 3 have improved. I don't know if one is better than the other, but I think they've all improved. And that's kind of the goal of spring, is to watch those guys get better than they have. Well, he's been dinged up a little bit, but I think he's handled it really well. I mean, Chance just is full of so many words. I mean, he's the most quiet guy I've ever been in my life. I mean, he's just a silent assassin. So he's going to be a big man. How big, I don't know. This is going to be a critical time, but he's handled it really well. And things happen a little faster and a little bit more physical inside. He's handled it really, really well.
One more question. Did he eat himself into the middle, or these guys just don't bulk up?
Well, when we took him, we thought that he'd get bigger. He's got like a size like 75 foot. He's got the biggest feet. Like 18 or 19. They're the biggest feet I've ever seen in my life. And you just look at that, you look at his frame, you look at his hips, you look at his shoulder width, you knew he was going to be a big man. Did we think he'd get this big this fast? We just didn't know the second growth spurt. And it's happened a little early for him. And, he's going to be a 300-plus pound guy within 18 months. And that 99, I don't know, there's something about that number in a defensive lineman. It just looks good, and especially seeing Wooten here today. I mean, I'm excited about it.
One more. How much does it scare you when you see Kane scrambling like that and taking some hits? I mean, your goal was no injuries, and he definitely put his body out there. Did you get a little nervous out there on some of his runs?
No, the defense held off. He didn't get hit today. He fell down. It's like a 6'4" and a 2-year-old. There's a difference between somebody hitting each other and somebody falling down and going boom. So he fell down and went boom today. So
Anthony Battle got him once. Come on.
He learned from last year, and his little snapshot of playing. The hits that you take in this league are nothing what happened today. So Danny is an example. I think Danny said it pretty well in the teleconference. He learned a lot early last year about how to protect himself, how to get down, how to manage himself, and those guys, they'll learn. They'll learn. And Kane's strength, one of his strengths is his athleticism, and he's got to protect himself.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for being the weather. Appreciate your